Hello and welcome. This is Tapinator. Today we are reading The Lightning Thief by Riordan. Here. We are on Chapter 3. Let's get started. Chapter 3. Grover unexpectedly loses his pants. Sounds interesting. Confession time. I ditched Grover as soon as we got out of the bus terminal. I know, it was rude, but Grover was freaking me out, looking at me like I was a dead man, muttering, "Why does this always happen, and why does it always have to be 6th grade?" Whenever he got upset, Grover's bladder acted up, so I wasn't surprised when, as soon as we got off the bus, he made me promise to wait for him, and then made a beeline for the restroom. Instead of waiting, I got my suitcase, slipped outside, and caught the first taxi uptown. East 104th and 1st, I told the driver. A word about my mother before you meet her. Her name is Sally Jackson, and she's the best person in the world, which proves my theory that the best people have the rottenest luck. Her own parents died in a plane crash when she was 5, and she was raised by an uncle who didn't care about her much. She wanted to be a novelist, so she spent high school working to save enough money for college, with a good creative writing program. Then her uncle got cancer, and she had to quit school her senior year to take care of him. After he died, she was left with no money, no family, and no diploma. The only good break she ever had was meeting my father. I don't have to mention... I don't have many memories of him. Just a sort of warm glow. Maybe the barest traces of a smile. My mother doesn't like to talk about him very much. It makes her sad. She has no pictures. See, they weren't married. She told me he was rich and important, and that their relationship was a secret. Then one day, he set sail across the Atlantic on some important journey, and he never came back. Lost at sea, my mom would say. He's not dead, lost at sea. She worked odd jobs, took night classes to get her school diploma, and raised me on her own. She never complained or got mad, not even once, but I knew I wasn't an easy kid. Finally, she married Gabe Ugliago, who was nice the first 30 seconds I met him. Then, he showed his true colors, as a world-class jerk. When I was young, I nicknamed him Smelly Gabe. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. The guy reeked like moldy garlic pizza wrapped in gym shorts. Between the two of us, we made my mother's life pretty hard. The way Smelly Gabe treated her, the way he and I got along, well, when I came home, that is, for a good example. I walked into our little apartment, hoping my mom would be home from work. Instead, Smelly Gabe was in the living room, playing poker with his buddies. The television blared ESPN. Chips and beer cans were strewn all over the carpet. Hardly looking up, he said around his cigar, "So you're home. Where's my mom?" "Working," he said. "Got any cash?" That was it. "No, welcome back. Good to see you. How's your life been the last 6 months?" Gabe had put on weight. He looked like a tuskless walrus in a thrift store clothes. He had put 3 hairs on his head, all combed over his bald scalp as if to make him handsome or something. He managed the electronic Mega Mart in Queens, but he stayed home most of the time. I don't know why he hadn't been fired long before. He just keeps on collecting paychecks, spending the money on cigars that made me nauseous, and on beer, of course. Always beer. Whenever I was home, he expected me to provide his gambling funds. He called that our guy's secret, meaning that if I told my mom, he would punch my lights out. "I don't have any cash," I told him. He raised a greasy eyebrow. Gabe could sniff out money like a bloodhound, which was surprising since his own smell could have covered up everything else. "You took a taxi from the bus station," he said. "Probably played with 20. Got $6-7 in change. Somebody expects to live under this roof. He ought to carry his own weight. Am I right, Eddie?" Eddie, the super of the apartment building, looking at me with a twinge of sympathy. "Come on, Gabe," he said. "The kid just got here." "Am I right?" Gabe repeated. Eddie scowled into his bowl of pretzels. The other 2 guys passed gas in harmony. "Fine," I said. I dug a wad of dollars out of my pocket and threw money on the table. Hope you lose. Your report card came. Yeah, your report card came, brain boy, he shouted after me. I wouldn't act so snooty. I slammed the door to my room, which really wasn't my room. During school months, it was Gabe's study. He didn't study anything in there except old car magazines, but he loved shoving my stuff in the closet, leaving his muddy boots on my windowsill, and doing his best to make the place smell like a nasty cologne and cigarettes and stale beer. I dropped my suitcase on the bed. Home sweet home. Gabe's smell was almost worse than the nightmares about Mrs. Dodds, or the sound of that old fruit lady's shears snipping the yarn. But as soon as I thought that, my legs felt weak. I remembered Grover's look of panic, how he'd made me promise I wouldn't go without him. A sudden chill rolled down through me. I felt like something, was looking at me right now. Maybe pounding its way up the stairs, growing long, horrible talons. When I heard my mom's voice, "Percy!" She opened the bedroom door, and my feels melted. My mother can make me feel good just by walking into the room. Her eyes sparkle and change color in the light. Her smile is as warm and as quiet. She got a few gray streaks mixed in with her long brown hair, but I never think of her as old. When she looks at me, it's like she's saying all the good things about me, none of the bad. I've never heard her raise her voice or say any unkind words to anyone, not even me or Gabe. "Oh, Percy," she hugged me. "I can't believe it. You've grown since Christmas." Her red, white, and blue Sweet on America uniform smelled like the best thing in the world. Chocolate, licorice, and all the other stuff she sold at the candy shop in Grand Central. She bought me a huge bag of free samples, the way she always did when I came home. We sat there together on the edge of the bed while I attacked the blueberry sour strings. She ran her hand through my hair and demanded to know everything I hadn't put in my letters. She didn't mention anything about my getting expelled. She didn't seem to care about that. But was I okay? Was her little boy doing all right? That's not a proper sentence. I told her she was smothering me and to lay off and all that, but secretly, I was really, really glad to see her. From the other room, Gabe yelled, "Hey, Sally! How about some bean dip, huh?" I gritted my teeth. My mom is the nicest lady in the world. She should have been married to a millionaire, not some jerk like Gabe. For her sake, I tried to sound upbeat about my last days at Yancey Academy. I told her I wasn't too down about the expulsion. I'd lasted almost the whole year this time. I'd made some new friends. I'd done pretty well in Latin. And honestly, the fights hadn't been as bad as the headmaster said. I liked Yancey Academy. I really did. I put such a good spin on the year, I almost convinced myself. I started choking up, thinking about Grover and Mr. Bruner. Even Nancy Bubblefit suddenly didn't seem so bad. Until that trip at the museum. "What?" my mom asked. Her eyes tugged at my conscience, trying to pull out the secrets. "Did something scare you?" "No, Mom. I felt bad lying. I wanted to tell her about Mrs. Dodds and the three old ladies with the yarn, and I thought it would sound stupid." She pushed her lips. She knew I was holding back, but she didn't push me. "I have a surprise for you," she said. "We're going to the beach." My eyes widened. "Montaku? 3 nights, same cabin. When?" She smiled. "As soon as I can get changed." Alright, everyone. It's about 9 minutes and 20 seconds. I would like to thank you for coming and listening to me read once again. Alright, everyone. Have a great day, night, morning, time. Alright, everyone. I'll see you next time for our next episode of the Percy Jackson series, The Lightning Thief, by Rick Riordan. See you then. Goodbye.